It's Lee.
I'm so behind in my filing. Hey, will you help me alphabetize these volunteer folders?
Yes, I can.
Oh, well, look here. Here's Karen's volunteer file.
Can I look at it?
Well, it's confidential. You know what that means, right?
I can't tell what it says.
And you shouldn't tell anyone that you saw what it says.
You mean my mama?
You got me.
I won't tell, I promise. She's so pretty. What are these?
It's her personal information, her address and phone number. What are you thinking?
I want to call her.
Oh, well, I suppose you would need a phone for that.
She's from right here.
Carol, I have to step away. Will you wait here for me?
Yeah.
You'll be all alone for a bit.
Okay. Wait. Show me something.
Sure. Anything in particular?
What are the 3 numbers?
Oh, okay. Well, this one is her work, this one's her home number, and this one is her mobile.
What number should I call her?
I would use her mobile.
That one there.
That one there, her mobile. Carol, the funny thing about our office phones is that you have to dial 9 to get an outside line. Yep.
That's confidential, right?
Certainly is. Ruff, ruff.
Hey, David.
Hey, everyone. Sending love. You see, I have a new background. I had to rearrange my room because the window was leaking air and I was getting too many nose things going on. So that being said, we're going to jump right into this wonderful day with this wonderful woman. Welcome to Meet the Biz, because we have, she is a 2-time primetime Emmy-nominated actress. And beside being an actress, she's a writer, she is a director, she is a producer, she is real, she is loving, she is beautiful, and she is powerful. And here's a list of just a few of her credits. Carol of the Bells. Remember we had that Carol of the Bells party a couple of years ago. Red Carpet, which we all got to walk. The Long Road Home, Mr. Majestic, Stir Crazy, Big Wednesday, Almost Summer. Some of these movies, I mean, I grew up with these and I'm still watching them. And of course, the classic, iconic Valley Girl with Nicolas Cage. Here she is. I love this woman, Lee Purcell.
Oh, hi. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you, see all your pretty smiling faces, and we're going to have a good time today.
Yes.
And
yes.
We're going to do some work.
Yes, and that's the exciting part of this. We're going to do, it's a little, every Meet the Biz is different, and this one is no exception. We're going to start off with maybe a little 25-minute interview and visit, and then we're going to jump on in, and Lee's going to be teaching. I know a lot of, we had some auditions over the last month, and today's the day. Today is the day. So, hi. I love look at that mountain behind you.
Just changed it to this is actually Los Angeles
Yeah.
during the snows. It has been photoshopped a bit to move the mountain closer
Right.
to our skyline, but I just think it's really pretty. And please forgive me, I have a little allergy thing going on. So I have a cough drop in my jaw here. I don't have like a weird, tumor or something. And
Thank God.
and I am coughing a little bit. So just, you can't catch it through the screen, and it's an allergy anyway. So
I tell you, and that's because of all this rain, this wonderful rain.
all the flowers bring out my allergies. So I'm sure that some of you are familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, listen, I have a bunch of questions. I could have done a full 5-hour interview, but she says, no, that's okay. We'll just, but I did have a few questions I wanted to ask. Besides being an actor, you have been an athlete, you have done ballet, you've been a dancer. Why, the question is, especially for all the people we have today, why is it so important to be a well-rounded artist?
Well, for a number of reasons. I mean, I didn't start out as a child thinking I want to be a well-rounded artist. I don't think anybody thinks like that as a child, but I just had a lot of interests, as I'm sure a lot of people here do as well. And I had a tremendous curiosity about many things. And so I just started exploring those things. I knew I was an artist. I didn't know if I was going to be a fine artist or a performing artist, because I was doing so many different things. I tried painting. I was a terrible painter. I tried writing. I was a good writer. I still write. And all kinds of dance, all kinds of music, and my picture just froze. I live in the mountains and this happens. So let me just do this.
Okay.
And it will unfreeze. I'll be doing that repeatedly. So, but as it turned out, doing a lot of things and having a very rich and full and varied life does help you as an artist, because all those experiences, and you might have completely different interests, than I do. You may like crocheting, you may like, I don't know, chess, various things. But I think the more things you're curious about, what it does for you, it's kind of like a bank account. So all these various things that you've participated in, you've watched, you've listened, you've loved, you've been interested, maybe for a short while, maybe forever. And it kind of goes into this account. And then when you become a professional, or maybe just a more of a hobbyist artist, which is totally fine too. You have all these experiences to draw from that bank account. You can pull from those. And I think that really helps you. And I think it helps you develop as a person, and as a member of society, and as an artist. I think those things are really important to explore and to be curious. I think curiosity is a major trait of artists, all kinds of artists, painters and actors and dancers and singers and musicians and writers. And I think it's curiosity that makes us take that next step and the next step and the next step. And, oh, what's over here? And, oh, what's over there? And I think it's really important.
Well, out of all these steps and these jobs that you've taken and swam. Out of all these jobs, is there a moment or a job that you say, I loved that? I love doing that.
You mean an acting job?
It could
I hardly
be.
ever had another kind of job, but an acting job.
Sure.
or a
Well, or it could have been a dance. This one moment, this was, whether you were dancing, whether you were acting, whether you were writing, producing, was there a moment that you went, oh, at this moment, this is what I remember?
yeah, there is, but I was very young. And I think a lot of people here probably have had similar experiences when you were very young.
Yeah.
And I was 7. I'd already been performing for a while, but I hadn't done, I started off as a model when I was 3. I was what's called a toddler model, the little girl who walks down the runway with a cute outfit on. And then it started doing regional television when I was 5. Sorry about my throat today, folks.
No, don't worry.
And so when I was 7, there was the very familiar experience to actors. There was a school operetta, not a play, but an operetta, which is music and kind of like light opera. And it was Peter and the Wolf, which is very famous.
Yeah.
And I got the role of the bird.
Oh.
And Sasha, I think Sasha's the name of the bird.
Yeah.
And we did it full on. I mean, it was beautifully done. It was costumes. It was fabulous music. And I think is it Tchaikovsky? I'm not sure.
I think so.
I think so, but I'm not sure. But anyway, look it up sometime. Peter and the Wolf. It's a lovely piece.
Yeah.
But a boy who goes hunting in the woods and he meets a bird and he meets another animal. It's a long time ago. And so I was playing this bird and I had on a yellow bird suit with a big hat and big beak.
Yeah.
I came out on stage and to start on my part and people started applauding. And it was like, oh, because I hadn't performed live and you don't get applause on TV, right?
Yeah.
So it was to me, it was like, wow, they're applauding. And then I went on with the play. And every time I would flap my wings, my little fake wings,
Mm-hmm.
the audience would applaud. And so I became like this maniac. There goes my picture. I became this maniac, applauding and flapping my wings, and I couldn't stop. Even though it wasn't, the right cue, the right moment, I couldn't stop because it was so exhilarating to
Right.
know that I could affect an audience with what I did on stage. And that moment changed my life.
Mm.
It was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is it. If I can create that kind of an effect, then this is it. And that was it. That was my decision.
I love those moments early in life that you could just go, oh yeah, just that moment where my life changed. Or
Yeah, that was it. I mean, it was profound in a lot of ways. And I'm sure a lot of people on here have had various similar experiences where something happened and your decision was made and your life changed.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry about the reception today. There's nothing I can do about it. I live in the mountains.
That's
And-
okay. It's probably that mountain right behind you, right?
It could be without snow. Yeah,
Right.
it could be.
Right.
But we
Now-
will persevere.
Talking about these moments in life, what just in life, what do you get the most joy out of in life? What brings you the most joy?
Oh, well, everybody has so many things.
Yeah.
That bring you joy. I mean, I would say okay, family, friends, number one, right? And my dogs and all animals. Okay, so all that goes without saying because I'm sure people on here, a lot of them feel that way. But when it comes down to like overall greatest joy, somebody asked me the day, a friend asked me the day, are you happy? I said, oh yeah, I'm very happy because I'm really busy and I'm busy creating. And I realized, oh, that is my greatest joy.
Yeah.
It's creating. And it doesn't have to be a job, right? It doesn't have to be a paid acting job or a writing job or whatever. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
It is that creativity that I'm creating something, even if, and I kind of watched this about myself recently, even if I'm creating like a new, I don't know, a new way of rearranging a room,
Yeah.
just that. I mean, and then going all the way up to, yeah, producing something that I love or acting in something I love, but it can be the smallest of things. It can be like, moving the piano to the other side of the room and realizing, oh, that works so much better.
Yeah.
It can be that. So I think we all are made with creativity inside of us.
Mm.
And if you dare to express it, even in the smallest ways, then you will be happy. You will have joy. Is what I think. And and creativity comes from a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be, making a painting. It doesn't have to be whatever. It can be, I don't know, changing how something is. I mean, that's like, I guess, a big deal for me. If I wash my car and clean it all out and make it beautiful, it's creative.
Right.
That's creative, right?
Yeah.
So creative means different things to everybody on this Zoom. You all have those ways of creating.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you do, whether it's acting, whether it's painting, drawing, costuming, whatever, because I've done pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I've got it distilled down now to have
Yeah.
it for a long time as to what I really like to do.
What, I'm hearing about your creating and where it comes from, and you are a 2-time primetime Emmy nominated actress for 2 miniseries, Secret Sins of the Father and Long Road Home. And I was watching clips of it last night and I was like, wow, just like sucked in by you being there. You were just, I guess that was the either both of them, Long Road Home and Secrets of the Sin. You had it on your demo.
Right.
And how as an actress do you find the core of the role that you are portraying?
Well, again, everybody is different, but I am a huge researcher. And some roles can be researched because there is material available. And some roles, it's just, you just got to make it up out of whole cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And I always go for the first thing I do is read the script over and over and over and over. And I have taken a cue of doing that from some really brilliant, great actors that I admire. And so I do that. I read it over and over and over and over and over. I mean, till it just gets to be like nauseating almost. But every time I read it, I see something different. And that, like, the layers start peeling off because there's all these underneath layers, in every script, even a bad script. Although there's fewer layers in a bad script. But every time I get a script just fixing it again. That's what I do. And that opens the door for me. And then another thing I do that I think is kind of unusual is the first time through the script, I look for words that I don't understand, words that I have to define. And so I define those words as I go. And it may be a really simple word, or it may be terminology related to the role, the project. But I find that if you skip over words that you don't understand, that you don't define, that you're not getting the full thrust of the story or the script. It's a simple thing to do, but most people don't do it. And when I have taught in the past, I've taught in England. That's what I do with my students. I'm going, is there any word here that you don't really fully understand? And there always is.
Yeah.
Simple to complex, there always is. So I have them define it and I have them use it in sentences, and I have them look at the origin of a word. You know, was it Latin? Was it French? What were the word parts that got stuck together to make this word? And you would be amazed at what this does to open up a script. You will be amazed, because writers can tend to use kind of complex words because they're writers. And I am guilty of it myself because I'm a writer. And so I find that to be very important. And then once I get through all those mechanics, then I will look and I will see, is there research available? Am I playing a real life character? Because then that is, you know, great, because there'll be material available on the internet.
Right.
And or is it an era that's on the internet? Or now if you get something that is like a science fiction completely made up, completely, there's no research anywhere on, you know, planet Zor, you know, where everybody were like, you know, gophers. There's nothing available.
Yeah. So
in that case, but you can research, like, what is space like? You know, what is the pressure? What is the atmosphere? What you can do things like that. So I love research. I love researching my characters. I love researching the eras of the story. I love researching other characters, you know, in the story. You don't always have to just research your own. Like I did a movie called Dirty Little Billy long time ago. And it was about Billy the Kid, you know, the famous criminal.
Yeah.
And then two of his cohorts, me and this other person, and everybody there. I mean, Billy was real. My character was a combination of 2 or 3 different young women of the time. And so there was a lot of research I could do. And so I'm big on research, and all these are mechanical things, but what they do for you is they bring you things. They bring you a lot of wealth of knowledge, and then it starts awakening things in you. Like for Long Road Home, where I was playing a migrant farm worker in the 1930s, and she had, I think, 7 kids, and Mark Harmon played my husband, and then I had to do a particular type of accent, but I kind of combined 2 accents because I had come from one place and then lived in another place. So the accents had kind of merged, as it did with me when I used to have an accent. And so there was also a novel that was based on, a gigantic novel, like, I don't know, 400 pages or something. And the granddaughter had written that novel about her grandmother, who this character that I played and was nominated for was based on. And so there was so much research that was available for this. And then I had relatives, my great uncles, and I think my great uncles and my great grandmother, they had come out from, I think, Arkansas during the Dust Bowl, because they lost everything, like so many people did.
Yeah.
And they came out to California and built new lives. And so I felt like a lot of the roles I do are very emotional to me, and some of them are not, you know, but this one was really emotional because I felt like I owed it to my ancestors to do a good job.
Yeah.
And also to the novelist's grandmother to do a good job. And then we were also shooting in an area where that had all taken place in Northern California. And the real place where
Wow.
a lot of these people came, the Dust Bowl refugees came to, and they were treated horribly, and it was a miserable time. But we were there, and I could feel them around me. You know, it's a very spiritual experience. I could feel them. And then Mark and I and the kids were given picking lessons. We had to learn how to pick.
Yeah.
And it was artichokes, and which have razor blade like leaves, and they cut your arms and your hands and so forth. And so we learned how to pick. So this was a role I was really like immersed into and just completely saturated with.
Yeah.
And so those are my favorite kind of roles. But so that everything I've just said helps you find your process might be very different from mine. But everything I've just said is what helps me to find the core of my characters.
Got it.
And so those are just some tips.
Yeah. Of course, I have a list of questions here. We could go on. I'm going to only do one more right now because
Great.
I know we're going to get right into, we want to get into the training and the coaching and the fun. And if we have time a little later, we'll wrap up with a few other questions. If not, we'll just go with the flow. Don't tell me, but be calm. What was your cup say?
Oh. Okay, you're probably looking at it backwards.
Don't tell me. What is it?
Don't tell me to keep calm.
Oh. Okay.
This is, I love this cup. This is what I show my husband when I'm getting annoyed. It's like, hello, look at the cup. And, or when he says to me, keep calm, and I'll go, look at the cup.
Look at the cup that goes in. There we
go. Yeah.
I am.
Because I have this background.
No, I like it. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions? Is that okay, David?
Sure.
You see some people kind of waving. Questions about what we've done thus far, or questions about improv, or questions about monologues, because we haven't gotten to scenes yet. But if anybody has specific questions about those two things, or any of the notes that I gave, I'd love to hear them. And if you don't, we will move on to scenes.
I think we have Jay Lewis has a question here. Let's see,
Okay.
Jay Lewis.
Okay. Is Jay is your name?
Jay Lewis, yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jay Lewis. How are you?
How are you? First, let me say I am a fan of yours. I remember I've watched several of your films and TV shows. So this is, you said earlier, you're giving a bit of a master class. Hearing from you is absolutely a master class for me. So just, first of all, thank you very kindly for taking your time.
Oh, of course. Oh my God. Thank you for the kind words. And did you have a question about?
Yes, ma'am, I absolutely do. So my question is, I tend to be more of a method actor, and I do a lot of what you said. I do the research, and I do read the script over and over.
Great.
And the first time is almost like I'm really studying it, because I will break it down and I will look up the words.
Perfect.
But sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much. So my question to you is it possible to overthink it? Is it possible to be too much of a method actor? Do you think that if you try and go too far into that character, that you're going to lose the craft or the essence of actually acting because you're trying too hard?
That is a really wonderful question. It is a wonderful question that I think a lot of actors, myself included, have wrestled with. And I can only speak for myself and for other people I've taught. But for myself, when I know that there is a point that I get to when I'm working on the script over and over and over and over, where I get bored. Right? And I'm like, ugh, I'm bored now. And I know that that point is a signpost for me to go further with it and to keep going with it. Because for me, and just for me, it means that I've gotten through a layer, but there's another layer. And if I keep going, even though I'm bored and I think I'm done, there's nothing more I can milk out of this script, right? There always is more.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's what I look at. And method acting is kind of a different thing, but there are similarities. And I've done method, and I've worked with people who do method, and it's an interesting technique, and it does help. I personally use kind of like a combination of many techniques because I've done so much work, and because I've studied with a lot of people both here and in England, and I just kind of use it all, or I use the bits and pieces that work for me. And if it doesn't work for you to do the script over and over, then don't do it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I would counsel you that when you get to that point of the boredom level, keep going and see what happens.
Okay. So see, that's where it's, I'm telling you, it's a blessing that you just said that, because that's where, when I get to that level of reading it over and over and over again, I get to the level of being bored. I have been taking that as the sign of, you've got it, now worry about something else. And you're absolutely right. It's almost like, so for me, in my mind, I'm thinking it's like, that's the rite of passage. Once you get to that level of boredom, it's like you're going to see something different on the other side of that. And it's like, I'm now excited for my next audition so that I can try that. That's how, I want to implement that. So again, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. And if it doesn't work for you, don't do it.
Yeah.
But give it a shot, because it was something that I had to learn. And then once I learned it, I went, oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it. There's another layer hiding down there. But I'll never get to it if I give up at the point of boredom.
Okay. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. How about one more question, and then we'll go to the scenes.
All right. One more question. Again, anybody has? Oh, Tracy Turner. I saw Tracy Turner raise her hand. There she is.
I don't see Tracy. Where are you? Oh, there you are. There you are. I got you. In the green. You're in the green. Hi, Tracy. How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking with us. I really appreciate all your input. You're very sweet. My question is, I have a problem with improv because I'm always in my head.
I think your picture froze. I think you froze.
I think I have a problem.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Tracy's picture is freezing like
What
mine does.
Yeah.
Did you get the question?
Tracy, you said you're always in your head. Are you in it too much? Is that the question? And how to get out of it?
Yeah.
And is that what
I'm always in my head?
And you're always in your head. And did I hear you say this happens in improv class, or
Yeah.
so it happens in improv class? Does it happen, say, in scene stuff?
awful.
I didn't get that.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's just
Okay.
it's freezing up, Tracy.
Yeah, your
Does it-
pictures, like mine freezes, my picture, your picture's freezing. So then your voice freezes. It's a technical thing.
I
Yeah.
know.
Does it
I know.
does it happen? Does it also happen in your monologues or your scene work that you get in too much into your head?
Yes.
So it
Yes.
happens, does it happen across the board? See, you're frozen again. It's the connection. It's just like my
Yeah,
connection.
yeah, because
So yes, it happens across the board.
I think I've been a dreamer mine for years, and I've been in the business for like 30 years, and I want more. I know a lot of people have trouble with my speech. I understand that. I try to work on it very hard, but it's just like, what should I do to get out there?
Okay, I think your question is an overall question. Plagues a lot of people. It is the question, how do I get out of my head? Is that you see you froze again. It's a shame we have a bad connection.
I know. I think it's how to get out of your head, whether it's a monologue, whether it's improv, whether it's a scene.
Is that correct, Tracy?
Well, I mean, I do pretty well if I like memorize it. I memorize it, my tone, and I make sure I know the line back and forth, and then I play with it.
Okay, I'm just gonna take it as a general question so that
I'm
we.
sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's a great question.
I'm sorry.
That's a fabulous question, and I'm going to answer it now. Okay. So the way to get out of your head is to do the work, is to do the preparation, like Jay Lewis and I were discussing, and like we discussed earlier. You get out of your head by doing the work, by doing the preparation, by figuring out all those things, the motivation, the barrier to reaching your motivation. What do you want from who, right? But you do that way before you actually are performing or in class. Now, I'm not talking about improvs. That's a different thing, right? But I'm talking about scene study, monologues, and actual work, right? You do the work. So all of your prep work is on paper. It's not in your head anymore. It's on paper because you have written it down on paper or on your device, right? But you want to get it out. Hold on, get it out of your head and write it down, whether it be on your computer, on your iPad, on your phone, on a piece of paper with a broken pencil, whatever it is, right? You want to do all the work, get it out of your head and get it written down. And that will get you out of your head. If you're in class, you're doing a monologue that I'm not talking about a cold reading, that's a different thing, but say you had some prep time for your monologue or your scene, right? Then you've had time to do your prep work. So you just have to do the prep work. That's all. And also, here's the other point to get you out of your head. Listen, and this really applies to everything across the board, including improvs and including cold readings. Listen to the other person. Listen to that person. If you're doing an improv, if you have a scene partner, if you're doing a scene monologue, there is no other person, not physically, but there can be another person. Like when I was working with, where are you? I don't see you right now. But when we were working on the monologue just a few minutes ago, and I said to the actor,
BJ, yeah.
BJ, thank you very much. I said to BJ, all those things. Who is it? Substitute somebody there, right? Know who you are. Know why you're there. Know what's going on. Know what you want. Be very, very specific. And you can do that fast, Tracy. Even if somebody hands you a monologue in class, you can do that really, really fast. You can just go, okay, here's my monologue. Who am I talking to? Right? That's the most important thing of all. Who am I talking to? And what real life person am I going to substitute for that person or that group? Right? Because you can substitute a person, one person, for an entire stadium of people. You can do that. And you have to do it because you can't talk to a stadium of people. And I've performed for big stadiums and like big, like 20, 30,000 people. And I can't perform for 20, 30,000 people. And I also couldn't see them well enough. So, but I have one person in my head that I transfer to that lot of people, or one person, and I substitute, and that's how you do it. So if you do all these things, it will get you out of your head. You don't want to say, no, oh, I gotta get out of my head, gotta go. No. You got to have specifics, and you got to have preparation, and you got to have, when all else fails and you're handed a cold reading monologue, right? You got to know, okay, who am I talking to? And if you do all those things, you won't be in your head. Is that okay? You got that?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your time.
You're
You're wonderful.
you're very, very welcome.
You're very beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
You're
that's very
beautiful. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So I think it's time to move on to the scenes.
Okay. What a wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Great fun. Talented people.
Yeah, yes. I had a question to you. Do you teach now at this time?
No, I've only taught in England.
Okay.
I only teach in England. I don't teach here, and I haven't taught in England for about 4, maybe 5 years now.
Yeah.
Hey, David, could I just put a fine point on everything here? And
Yeah.
first of all, I just want to thank you so much, Lee, for being here with us today. This is a really extraordinary class, you guys. And one of the things that I can see that Lee was trying to pull from you guys is that, lines are not just lines. Lines are just, those are the words that fall out of our mouths. It's what's going on in here. That is the most important thing. And if we really, really take our time in a scene and wait until you have that emotional reaction to what is going on before you speak the line, then you don't have to worry so much about the words at all. Because somebody could say, I love you, when they are really trying to say, I'd like to strangle you. It's just, how life is, y'all. But if you really take that time and let that emotional reaction hit you before you respond, and that's the beauty of film and television, you guys, is you can take that kind of time because there is an editor, and they may just pull that, cut out that little pause to grab, if they want it to be a tighter scene, they can grab that, and it's just a fabulous way of working. You can never go wrong if you trust your gut and you trust your emotion. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. Lee, thank you so much. That was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Thanks. It was great. A lot of talented people here. Really fun. I really enjoyed it. I want to thank all of you for being here and for working.
Yes, and Lee, and one thing I did want to mention is that you have a project, the Hollywood Radio Players, now that you're working on.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you guys want to go see it, it's on YouTube, and we have a website, hollywoodradioplayers.com, and then on YouTube it's just Hollywood Radio Players, and we've been doing this for about a year. And what we do is we reenact classic radio plays from the 1920s through the early 1960s. And we do this because we love it. We're all, the group is pretty much all made up of radio nerds, and as we call ourselves. And then we do it also because we're raising money for the Motion Picture and Television Fund, which is, of course, as you all know, the industry gold standard for helping people within the industry.
Yeah.
And I would love it if you go see. I'm directing the show number 10
Oh, thanks.
right now, and the first 9 are up on the website and on YouTube. And it's a very unusual format that we actually created, because we do full plays on Zoom, but we do it with special effects and sound effects and celebrity hosts and costumes and props. And it's not just a bunch of people sitting there, reading. It's very complex. And we have a group of wonderful, wonderful actors. And just my picture froze again. And a group of wonderful actors and editors. And we alternate directing. I just happen to have directed the most. And I hope you all get a chance to see it. I'd appreciate it.
I look forward to it. And thank you. What a joy. What a joy.
What a joy. I think we have to end, otherwise I would be answering questions.
We do, but we hope to have you visit again sometime in the future.
I would just love it. That would be great. Just you guys are all a wonderful group of people. I love you all.
Oh, and we love you. Thank you, Lee Purcell.
Thanks, Lee. Beautiful, beautiful work, everybody. Thank you so much. What a delightful couple hours.
The money was never recovered from the robbery. Suddenly it starts appearing a few days ago, only in Chicago. You live at 221 West Racine?
Yes.
Do you usually pay for everything in cash? Do you own a handgun, Constable Fraser?
It's a standard RCMP issue.
That would make it a 38?
She ran because she was frightened.
This is the same woman who spent 3 days in your apartment without leaving a print? So you were alone together for a week after the robbery. What did you talk about?
Don't you blaspheme. Don't you do it. They got you licked, you start that. Listen to me, James Earl. They ain't got us down. I tell you that. They ain't. We're gonna be strong and keep going, and we're gonna get out of this vale of tears.
I was afraid if I could actually see her face, that I would see what you saw in her. That I would see what was wrong with me. That after so many years, I had become too dependent on you. Far too dependent. That you were still Tom, but I had become Tom and Anne. Tom and Anne. I'm smarter now. I'm Anne.
Aren't you,
Molly de Mornay, star of the nighttime soap Lives of Their Wives. Just finished our 11th season. Yes. And what can I do for you, Sergeant Harrison Tyler?
I'm here to check out a report of a missing elephant. You see, we nabbed these 2 cat burglars, and they insist on seeing an elephant at this address.
An elephant? Oh, my. Well, we could check under the bed. Let me make you a cup of coffee.
Cut it! This is a farce.
Well, that's my best laugh. I just had somebody killed. I should be evil. I should have an evil laugh.